academics and scholars talk of cinema, they tend to talk of British cinema, of German avant-garde cinema, of French cinema, of American cinema, Italian cinema. They tend to define it by national boundaries. But when you look at the history of cinema, movies, film itself, it doesn't conform to national boundaries, and it never has done. The first moving pictures were French. It was the Lumiere brothers who effectively invented the moving picture. You think of that film of the train coming into the station, a very simple film, but at the time, audiences were frightened of this. They'd never seen anything like it. There are reports that people ran out of the cinema because it was that scary. A train pulling into the station, into a station. I hate to break this to you, young James, but that story about the people running out the cinema because they were scared of the train, it's apparently a myth. Sorry. One of the first cinematic pioneers was Georges Méliès, again a Frenchman. He pioneered special effects, techniques. His most famous picture, Le Voyage dans la Lune, which is the one with the image of the moon with the rocket coming out of its eye. Very influential, well-known, early cinematic. Well, I suppose for the time it was a masterpiece. And you think of some of the cinematic pioneers, they've been from all around the world. Sergei Eisenstein in Russia, Fritz Lang, Germany, Metropolis, one of the pioneering sci-fi films. Ingmar Bergman, a Swede, and his famous film The Seventh Seal, with Death playing chess on the beach. Cinema's great pioneers, great innovators, have been from all around the world. Even in British cinema, what they call British cinema, the pioneer of British cinema, the first movie mogul for Britain, if you like, was from Hungary, Alexander Korda. And arguably, without Korda, there would be no such thing as what academics and scholars call British cinema. And then you have films themselves, the films themselves. Famous films come from all over the globe. They're shown all over the world. They're talked about all over the world, and they come from everywhere. La Dolce Vita in Italy by Federico Fellini. Again, Fritz Lang, Metropolis. Ingmar Bergman, The Seventh Seal. Even right up to almost the present day with like Guillermo del Toro and Pan's Labyrinth. Cinema is international. It crosses boundaries. Just because it's made in one country doesn't mean it's entirely reserved for that country. A good film spreads around the world. To think of American cinema, you think of Hollywood, right? Hollywood is typically American. It follows this American model. You're a young aspiring actor living in Podunk, Iowa, and you want to be an actor. So where'd you go? You go off to Hollywood, you make it big, you see your name in lights. It's this example of the American dream. Hollywood is typically American. Or the idea of Hollywood is typically American. But again, when you look at Hollywood, it's this international mixture. It could not exist if it were purely American. You think of some of the stars of what they call the golden age of Hollywood. Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, Greta Garbo. Cary Grant was from Bristol. You wouldn't think of it to listen to him, but he was from Bristol. Audrey Hepburn, she was Belgian. She was born in Belgium. Ingrid Bergman was Swedish, Greta Garbo, again, Swedish. Even the first cinematic stars weren't from America, or some of them weren't. Charlie Chaplin, the poster boy for silent cinema comedy, the poster boy for silent cinema, he was from London. Laurel and Hardy one of them was American, but the other one was from, where was he? Oh, he was from somewhere near the Lake District. Stan Laurel. I forgot the name. It's not Morecambe, but it's somewhere near Morecambe. I'll have to get back to you on that one. It was Ulverston, young Jimothy. Ulverston. I realise now I've mentioned Ingrid Bergman, YouTube's auto subtitles are going to change her name to Angry Birdman. Again. That does change Casablanca a bit. Of all the gin joints in all the world, you had to walk into mine. But that's another thing. What we consider as classic American cinema isn't American at all. It's multinational. Casablanca is a fantastic example of this. It's set in Morocco, it's about French resistance fighters. Yes, the main character is American, but there are only 3 Americans in the entire cast. The cast is multinational. You have Ingrid Bergman, who was Swedish, but you also have actors and actresses from all over the world in that film. You have Hungarian, French, British, German actors in there as well. And add to that, it was directed by a Hungarian. One of the early horror films by Universal, Dracula, with Bela Lugosi. I want to suck your blood. International. Bela Lugosi was Hungarian. The story is based on a book by an Irishman. It's about an Eastern European blood-sucking count. Another American classic, Gone with the Wind. Of the 4 leading actors, only one of them is American. The other 3 were British. And when you look at modern cinema, today's cinema, it's still made by people from all around the world. Think of actors like Penelope Cruz, Javier Bardem, Hugh Jackman. Taron Egerton, he was born that way on the world, but he lived over there till he was 12. About 5 metres that way. Plus, I think he still hangs around Aberystwyth sometimes. In fact, I think he still lives in Aberystwyth. And I mentioned the Dracula thing already, but cinema appropriates stories from all around the world. Look at Disney. Disney takes fairy tales and stories from everywhere, from each part of the globe. Their biggest hit ever, Frozen, it's based on The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, who was from Denmark. A lot of their famous films, Cinderella, is based on a tale by Charles Perrault in France. Snow White, I think that's Brothers Grimm, I want to say, but it's definitely German. And without Snow White, there would be no modern animated cinema. There'd be no Hayao Miyazaki in Japan. In fact, not just in Japan, because his films have now spread around the world as well. Because of how beautiful they look, how visually stunning they are. So I guess that proves my point, right? Cinema is international. It's made by people from all around the world. It's seen by people from all around the world. It transcends national boundaries. Even Hollywood, even American cinema, what they call American cinema, it's international.